Honorable members, a very good morning to all of you. I welcome you all to the National Youth Parliament Session 2024 and hope that this session will be fruitful. We begin with today's session with oath or affirmation of the newly elected members. Secretary General, please.
Ms. Shivani, who stands elected from the Kolkata South constituency of West Bengal State, will now take the oath or affirmation. Ms. Shivani, please. Madam, do you want to take oath or affirmation? Oath, please. In which language could you like to take oath? English, please.
I, Shivani, have been elected a member of the lower house of the Youth Parliament, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, and that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Mr. Adya, who stands elected from the Vilpuram constituency of Tamil Nadu, will now take the oath or affirmation. Mr. Adya, please. Mr. Adya, do you want to take oath or affirmation?
Affirmation, please.
In which language could you like to take affirmation?
In Tamil, please.
மக்களவையின் உறுப்பினராக தேர்ந்தெடுக்கப்பட்டுள்ள ஆதித்யா எனும் நான் சட்டப்பூர்வமாக நிறுவப்பட்டுள்ள இந்திய அரசமைப்பின் பால் உண்மையான நம்பிக்கையும் பற்றுதலையும் கொண்டிருப்பேன் என்றும் இந்திய நாட்டின் இறையாண்மையும் ஒருமைப்பாட்டையும் நிலைநிறுத்துவேன் என்றும் நான் மேற்கொள்ளவிருக்கும் கடமையை நேர்மையுடன் நிறைவேற்றுவேன் என்றும் உளமாற உறுதி கூறுகிறேன்.
Honorable members, as we meet today, it is my sad duty to inform the House of the demise of our former member. It is with profound sorrow that I rise to inform the passing of our esteemed colleague, Mr. Kannan, who served this nation with his unwavering dedication and integrity. Shri Kannan was a distinguished member of this House who was well known for his contribution to SC, ST and women development and his commitment to the welfare of economically weaker section. Throughout his illustrious career, Shri Kannan exemplified the highest standard of public service as a social activist. He tirelessly stood with the backward classes, downtrodden, advocating for their life, striving to uplift their condition. He passed away at 30th July 2024 at the age of 63.
Sir, I rise to pay my tribute to Sri Kannan, whose death has been deeply mourned by all. He has been one of the sharpest men in Indian politics, and during his parliamentary career, he actively participated in House proceedings and made a valuable contribution for the society. Therefore, the shock of his passing is regretted. I could like to pay my deep condolence to his family.
Sir, I associate myself with the tributes paid by you and the leader of the House, Honorable Prime Minister. I had the privilege to work with Sri Kannan as a colleague. His tireless efforts in promoting social justice and equality have left an indelible mark on our society. I would like to associate myself and my party in sending our condolences to the bereaved family.
The House may stand in silence for a while to express our deep sorrow. Secretary General may convey the condolences to the bereaved family.
Yes, sir.
The next item in the list of business is introduction of new ministers. Honorable Prime Minister to introduce new ministers.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I have the pleasure in introducing to you, through you, to the house of my colleagues of the new minister, Mr. Gopi, Honorable Minister of Railways. Mr. Louis, Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Railways. Mr. Jana, Honorable Minister of Water Resources, River Management and Ganga Rejuvenation.
The questioners will now commence. Question number 101, Mr. Nandamadhavan.
Mr. Speaker, sir, question number 101. Will the Minister of Environment is pleased to state A. Whether the government is aware of the increasing level of air pollution in major cities across the country, and B. If so, what specific measure the government have to implement to combat these issues?
Honorable Minister of Environment.
Yes, sir. The government is fully aware of rising air pollution in several urban centers. The government has already initiated several steps to address this issue, including promoting the use of electric vehicles through subsidies and infrastructure development, stricter emission standards for industries and vehicles, expanding green cover in many cities to act as a natural air purifier. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Nandamadhavan, any further questions?
Sir, while the government has announced the measures, could the Honorable Minister classify the timeline for their implementation and how they have planned to monitor the success of these initiatives?
Honorable Minister of Environment.
The measures are being implemented in a phased manner. For example, electric vehicle charging stations have been implemented in major cities. We expect full coverage by 2025. Additionally, Station Cleaner Program HCAP has been launched, under which air quality has been monitored and reports are submitted quarterly. Thank you, sir.
The next question is question number 102, Honorable Member Ms. Ramya.
Honorable Speaker, despite the government claims of prioritizing education, the allocation for the education sector has been reduced compared to the previous year. Could the Minister of Education explain how does the government plans to meet the goals of the national education policy with this reduced budget?
Honorable Minister of Education.
Honorable Speaker, it is incorrect to say that the budget has been reduced. The government has been reallocated funds to focus on digital education, infrastructural improvement and skill development. Additionally, the state government have been empowered to spend more on education through their budget. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Ramya, supplementary question please.
While the emphasis on digital education is appreciated, there remains a vast digital divide in rural areas. How does the government plans to ensure access to quality digital education in such areas where internet connectivity is poor? Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Education.
Honorable Speaker, sir, we are in the process of rolling out high-speed internet infrastructure in rural and remote areas under the BharatNet project, and with several initiatives like Diksha and Swaya platform are being used to provide offline content to the area with low connectivity. Thank you, sir.
The floor is open for supplementaries. Honorable Member Ms. Nisha.
Honorable Speaker, it has been 4 years since the National Education Policy 2020 was introduced. Can the Minister provide an update on its implementation, particularly regarding the multilingual education system and skill-based learning in schools? Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Education.
Honorable Speaker, sir, the implementation of NEP 2020 is progressing well. Schools are being encouraged to adopt multilingual education, and several states have already been introduced regional languages as a part of their curriculum. Moreover, skill-based learning has been integrated into both middle and high school curricula, with vocational courses gaining traction. Thank you, sir.
The next question is question number 103. Honorable Member of Opposition, Mr. Vishnu Kumaran, please proceed.
Honorable Speaker, through you, I wish to ask the Minister of Labour and Employment about the government's plan to address the growing problem of unemployment. Despite promises of creating millions of jobs, still the unemployment rates are alarming high, especially among the youth. Could the Honorable Minister can explain why does the government has failed to create enough jobs and what specific steps are being taken to generate sustainable employment? Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment.
Honorable Speaker, I thank the Honorable Member for bringing up this significant concern. Sir, it has been stated that the government has failed to creation of jobs. However, I would like to clarify through you that this is not the case. The government has thoroughly evaluated the current unemployment situation. According to the latest data from the Ministry of Labour and Employment, the unemployment rate stands at around 7.1%, which reflects a steady improvement from a peak of 9.1% during the pandemic period. It is due to the proactive initiatives of our government that the unemployment rate has seen a significant decline this year. The measures we have introduced, including the key sector and the promotion of entrepreneurship through schemes like Startup India, Skill India Mission, have played a pivotal role in bringing down the unemployment rate. These programs have already led to creation of millions of jobs in sectors like manufacturing technologies and services. Moreover, investment in infrastructure development under the National Infrastructure Pipeline will generate substantial job opportunities. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member, Mr. Niranjan.
Honorable Speaker, the reality is far from what the Minister describes. Youth across the country are struggling to find jobs. Many of the positions created are low paying and insecure. What does the government plan to do for the millions of graduates who are passing out from universities with low employment prospects? Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment.
Honorable Speaker, we understand the concern of our youth, and that is why we have launched various skill development programs under the Skill India Mission. We are also encouraging entrepreneurship by providing financial assistance through Mudra loans to promote self-employment. Additionally, we are working to ensure that growth sectors like renewable energy, technology and healthcare will continue to generate job opportunities.
Sir, youth need job, not this kind of schemes. Yes. Sir, do not permit this kind of attitude.
Honorable Member, please be seated. If you have further questions, you ask them in an orderly manner. This House will not proceed with such disruption. Please allow the Minister to continue. Honorable Minister, please.
The government is indeed open to establishing a dedicated task force that will focus on identifying barriers to employment, particularly for educated youth. This task force will work alongside existing bodies and stakeholders to formulate targeted policies that address specific challenges that our effort to promote job creation are effective and impactful. Thank you, sir.
No more supplementaries. The next question is question number 104. Honorable Member, Ms. Punita.
Mr. Speaker, sir, will the Minister of Finance be pleased to state A. Whether the government is analyzed the potential risk of increasing public debts in relation to GDP growth. B. If so, the finding of this analysis and how it compares to previous fiscal years. C. The strategies in place to ensure public debts remain sustainable while supporting economic recovery. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Finance.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I thank the member for raising this pertinent question. A. Yes, the government has analyzed the potential risk of increasing public debt in relation to the GDP growth. Due to the pandemic and global economic challenges, public debt had to be increased to support critical spending on the healthcare, infrastructure and the welfare. B. In our analysis, public debt in the current fiscal year stands at 59.5% of GDP, slightly higher than the previous year due to necessary expenditure. However, India's steps to GDP ratio remain sustainable compared to other larger economies. In fact, we have been able to reduce this ratio from its peak during the COVID-19 pandemic, and we are projecting further improvement as our economic growth. See, in our analysis, public debt in the current fiscal stands here 59.5% of GDP, we will restore in 2 fiscal years. And we are also focusing on improving revenue mobilization through reforms in tax collection and broadening the tax base. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Ms. Yogashri.
Honorable Speaker, while the Finance Minister mentions improving revenue mobilization through reforms in tax collection and broadening the tax base, I have a supplementary question. Can the Minister provide details on the specific tax reforms that have been planned or implemented to achieve this? Additionally, how does the government intend to tackle these tax evasion and ensure the burden of broadening the tax base doesn't disproportionately fall on small businesses and individual taxpayers? Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Finance.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I thank the member for raising this important question. To improve revenue mobilization, we have initiated several key tax reforms. A. We are simplifying the tax filing process through digitization and automation to increase transparency and ease compliance. The introduction of the faceless assessment and appeals aims to reduce corruption and streamline tax administration. And we are also expanding the goods and service tax net by identifying and integrating informal sectors into the formal economy. B. To address the tax evasion, the government have enhanced data analytic capabilities and built a robust system for tracking high-value transactions. This ensures that large corporations and high-income individuals pay their fair share without passing the burden to small businesses and individual taxpayers. We remain committed to create a fair and efficient tax system that supports economic growth while safeguarding the interest of all the citizens. Thank you, sir.
The next question is question number 105. Honorable Member Ms. Sabita.
Mr. Speaker, sir, will the Minister of Commerce be pleased to state A. Whether the government has assessed the impact of global economic slowdown on India's export sector? B. If so, the detail of assessment and impact on key industries including agriculture and textile. C. The measures the government is taking to support export sectors in overcoming the challenges. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industries.
Honorable Speaker, I thank the Honorable Member for raising this important question. Yes, the government has conducted a comprehensive assessment of the impact of the global economic slowdown on India's export sector. We recognize that the slowdown has affected various industries and we are working proactively to address these challenges. Our assessment shows the key sectors like textile, agriculture and automotive have been impacted by the weakening global demand. Specifically, the textile industries has experienced a decline in order from significant markets like the US and the EU, while the agricultural exporters have encountered issue due to trade restriction and rising cost of inputs. To mitigate these challenges, the government has implemented several support measures. For instance, the interest equalization scheme has been extended to offer financial relief, particularly to labor-intensive sector. We are also negotiating new free trade agreements to diversify export destination and reduce dependence on traditional markets. Furthermore, the remission of duties and taxes on export product scheme has been extended to help maintain the competitiveness on India's exports.
Sir, what is your immediate support to affected sectors?
Let the Minister continue without any interruption. Honorable Member, please be seated.
Sir,
No,
what we want to know.
please sit down.
But sir,
I said sit down. Honorable Minister, please continue.
Honorable Speaker, we acknowledge the concern raised by the opposition. The government is also focusing on enhancing the competitiveness by investing in infrastructure development such as modernizing ports and establishing logistic parks. These efforts aim to reduce transportation costs, enabling our exporters to access new markets more efficiently. Additionally, we are introducing skill development programs and financial assistance initiatives specifically targeting at the workers in the textile and agriculture to help them adapt and find the new opportunities during these challenging times. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Sabita, supplementary question, please.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, will the Minister of Commerce have taken the steps to... Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, the measures the government is taking to support sector in overcoming the challenges. I would like to know why the interest equalization scheme benefits are not being effectively passed down to export sector. Can the Honorable Minister clarify? Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industries.
Honorable Speaker, the government is fully aware of the difficulties faced by the small-scale exporters. We have instructed financial institutions to simplify the procedures for accessing these schemes. The Minister of Commerce is also working closely with the regional banks and cooperative societies to ensure that the benefits are accessible to all exporters regardless of their size of location. Thank you, sir.
The next question is question number 106. Honorable Member Ms. Harita.
Honorable Speaker, sir, question number 106. Will the Honorable Prime Minister be pleased to state A. Whether the government has taken steps to engage diplomatically with China following the recent standoff along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh? B. If so, the key outcomes of these diplomatic engagements. C. Whether the government plans to initiate new confidence building measures to prevent further escalation. And D. If so, the specific measures proposed to ensure peace and stability along the LAC.
Honorable Prime Minister, please.
I thank the honorable member for raising this important issue. Yes, the government has actively engaged diplomatic with China following the recent standoff along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. Our approach has been multi-pronged, involving diplomatic, military and official channels to ensure a peaceful resolution to the ongoing situation. We have held multiple rounds of talks under the working mechanism for consultation, coordination on India-China border affairs, as well as high-level military talks to de-escalate tensions and restore peace. Immediately after the standoff incident in eastern Ladakh, the external minister had spoken to the foreign minister of China on 20 June 2024. The special representatives of India-China border on the boundary questions also had a telephone conversation on 5th July 2024. It was agreed that both sides should work towards restore peace in the border areas. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I rise today to bring to your attention a serious breach of privilege that has been committed by the leading newspaper. During the section on July 10, 2024, I spoke about the need for more funding for the rural health care. However, the National Herald newspaper published the false report saying I am opposed this funding. This incorrect report has harmed my reputation and misled the public. So, sir, I request you to allow me to raise a question on this matter now.
Mr. Chanakyan, have you given your notice of it earlier? You may give due notice along with a copy of newspaper cutting and I shall consider it.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I have already gave notice of it at 10 a.m. today.
It will be examined when it comes to me. I shall consider it and let you know my decision.
Thank you, sir.
Now, papers to be laid down. Honorable Minister of Finance.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I lay on the table the following papers in accordance with the Financial Management Act 2019. Number 1, the annual report of Ministry of Finance of the year 2023 to 2024. The audit reports on the accounts of the Reserve Bank of India of the year 2023 to 2024.
Honorable Minister of Home Affairs.
Sir, I beg to lay on the table a copy of following papers. Notification number 15/2024 dated 12 March 2024 issued under the Disaster Management Act 2005. The report on national security situation submitted by the National Security Advisory Board. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Sir, I beg to lay on the table a copy of the following papers in accordance with Agriculture Research and Development Act 1986. The statistic report on agriculture production for the year 2023 to 24, the performance report of the Indian Council of Agriculture Research for the year 2023 to 24. Thank you, sir.
The next item in the list of business is the message from Upper Chamber. Secretary General to report the message from Upper Chamber.
Sir, I have to report the following message received from the Secretary from the Upper Chamber of the Youth Parliament. In accordance with the provisions of the rules of procedure and conduct of business in the Upper Chamber of the Youth Parliament, I am directed to endorse a copy of Environment Protection Bill 2024, which has been passed by the Upper Chamber at a sitting held on 21st June 2024.
Secretary General to lay on the table a bill passed by the Upper Chamber.
Sir, I lay on the table of the House the copy of Environment Protection Bill 2024 as passed by the Upper Chamber of the Youth Parliament.
On behalf of the honorable members, I On my own behalf, I have a great pleasure in extending our warm greetings to Excellency Mr. Vyacheslav Volodin, Speaker of the Russian Parliament. Honorable members of the Russian Parliament delegations. Who are on a visit to India are our honored guests. The delegation arrived on 21st September 2024. They are now seated in the special box. I hope during their stay here, they will be able to see and learn more about the parliamentary system, our country and our people. And through them, we wish their Prime Minister, President and the people of Russia. Now let us take up the calling attention motion. I will call upon Mr. Pragaspati to present the motion.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I wish to call the attention of the Minister of the Home Affairs to the tragic landslide and flood that recently struck Wayanad, Kerala. The devastation led to numerous fatalities with many dead bodies still unclaimed. The survivors are left in the state of deep sorrow and despair. Could the Honorable Minister please appraise this house of steps being taken by the government to provide immediate relief and support to the affected families and to ensure proper handling and dignified burial of deceased? Thank you, sir.
I will call upon the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs to respond.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I thank the Honorable Member for raising this crucial issue. The government is deeply saddened by the loss of life and widespread of devastation caused by the landslide and flood in Wayanad. We have deployed multiple teams from National Disaster Response Force to conduct rescue operation and provide immediate assistance to affected people. To address the immediate needs, we are ensuring the provision of food, water and medical care. Temporary shelters have been set up for displaced and counseling services are being provided to help them cope with their trauma. Regarding the unclaimed bodies, we are working closely with local volunteers to ensure that they are identified and given a dignified burial. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Mr. Ilandarian.
Sir, what measures have been taken to ensure that the relief reach most remote and inaccessible areas affected by the landslide?
Honorable Home Minister.
Speaker, sir, the government has deployed additional helicopters and drones to survey and deliver essential supplies to affected areas, including the most remote and inaccessible ones. We are also working closely with local volunteers and community leaders who have intimate knowledge of these areas to ensure efficient distribution of relief materials. Furthermore, special task force are being sent to provide on-the-ground assistance. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Ms. Mahalashmi.
Honorable Speaker, sir, there have been significant delays in sending essential supplies to the affected areas, particularly in Membadi, Churamala and Atamala village. These areas have faced extensive damage to infrastructure, homes and agriculture land. Many of the areas are still without basic necessities. Why has the government been slow in its response?
Honorable Home Minister.
Sir, the government has been working tirelessly to address the disaster. The logistics of reaching remote and inaccessible areas can be extremely challenging. Despite these challenges, we have mobilized resources swiftly and efficiently. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Ms. Hashmita.
Honorable Speaker, while I appreciate the Minister's response, I would like to highlight that similar incidents have been reported in other mountain areas like Nilagiris and Idukki. Is the government planning any specific measures to address the landslide risk across these regions collectively? Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Ms. Jayashree.
Sir, I would like to ask Honorable Minister if there are any plans to relocate communities living in landslide prone areas, especially in Wayanad, and what compensation and rehabilitation measures will be provided to those affected.
Honorable Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, we have developed a comprehensive plan to tackle landslide risk across all mountainous regions, including Nilgiris, Idukki and other areas. This includes geotechnical surveys, early warning system and enhancing the capacity of local disaster management authorities. Regarding the question on relocating communities living in landslide prone areas, the government is actively assessing high-risk zones in Wayanad and other vulnerable regions.
We have already identified several areas where the risk of landslide is severe and a relocation plan is developed in consultation with environmental experts and local authorities. Our plan includes providing new housing for the displaced families in safer location, ensuring access to basic amenities such as water, electricity and healthcare facilities. A comprehensive compensation and rehabilitation package will be offered. Thank you, sir.
Now the legislative business will be taken up. Honorable Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment to introduce the bill.
Sir, I beg to move for a leave to introduce a bill further to amend the Constitution. Scheduled Case Order 1950. Thank you, sir.
The next question is that leave be granted to introduce a bill further to amend the Constitution, Scheduled Caste Order 1950. Those who are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those who are against it may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. Leave is granted. Minister to introduce the bill.
Sir, I introduce the bill further to amend the Constitution. Scheduled Case Order 1950. Thank you, sir.
Let us move for bill for consideration. Now the House will take up consideration for the National Sports Development Bill 2024 that has already been introduced in the previous session. Sports Minister, please.
Sir, I have great pleasure and privilege to take upon the consideration on the National Sports Development Bill 2024. This will be a milestone and the new chapter in the history of sports and games. Very purpose of this bill includes to provide the development of sports in India and coordination of national team for participation in international events, fair and transparency functioning of autonomous sports bodies and welfare measures for sports persons, promote ethical practices in sports including elimination of doping practices, fraud of age and sexual harassment of women in sports, to constitute and establish a sports dispute settlement and appellate tribunal to hear appeals and adjudicate disputes relating to sports and matters connected therewith and incidental thereto. The main provisions of this bill includes number 1, authorizing the central government to set guidelines for sports development and ensure the welfare of sports persons while promoting ethical standards. Number 2, ensuring compliance with this act because by the National Olympic Committee and Sports Federation during the selection of national teams. Number 3, providing top-tier training activities and coaching camps to prepare national team and the core athletes. Number 4, mandating Sports Authority of India to submit an annual report to the Parliament about financial audits, activities, achievements and efforts to promote indigenous sports. Number 5, empowering the national anti-doping agencies to implement a robust anti-doping framework across Indian sports associations. Honorable Speaker, sir, I am confident that all the members of this House, irrespective of party affiliation, will welcome this bill wholeheartedly and through. It will put forward the sports by eradicating the problems in arena of sports. Now, I move that the bill, National Sports Development Bill 2024 to consideration. Thank you, sir.
Motion moved. Honorable Member Ms. Motika.
Thank you, sir. I stand strong support of this bill as it recognizes the urgent need for a system that will improve India's standing in international sports, but also proposes a tribunal settle disputes in sports efficiently. It provides for regular addicts of sports association, which is essential for accountability. Furthermore, it will address discrimination issues and gender-based biases in sports. This bill commitment to eradicating sports and fraud curricle for ensuring a fair playing. Therefore, I fully support this bill. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Ms. Hemavarshini.
Honorable Speaker, I strongly favor the bill for the development of sports activity in our country due to following reasons. Number 1, it emphasizes the importance of nurturing athletes to achieve international success. Number 2, it takes a stand against the use of performance-enhancing drugs which tarnish sports. Number 3, the bill aims to reduce political interference in sports federation, which has been a long-standing issue. Number 4. Lastly, it promotes merit-based selection, which is vital for fostering competitive excellence. So, sir, I believe that this bill will pave way for brighter future for Indian sports, and I wholeheartedly support its passage. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Ms. Kritika.
Speaker sir, this bill has adequate provision to elimination of unethical practices, particularly sexual harassment in sports. Sir. Speaker sir, so I strongly prefer the bill.
Honorable Leader of Opposition, please.
Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity. While I appreciate the intention of this bill, I must express my reservations. Firstly, despite training and resources, our athletes have not been able to achieve consistent success at the Olympics. Moreover, merely adding provisions won't automatically change it into better performances. How will this bill guarantee a better future for athletes? Further, while the bill claims to address gender discrimination, the implementation of these policies is what truly matters. We need clarity on how it will actively prevent age and gender biases in selection. Moreover, selection transparency is still a concern. Regionalism and nepotism are entrenched in our sports culture, and the bill does not provide any concrete assurances to eliminate these issues. Lastly, we have seen large financial irregularities and match fixing, notably during events like the IPL. While the bill categorizes these as crimes, will the bill be effective in curbing them? Hence, I urge that these aspects be reconsidered before passing the bill. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Ms. Swatika.
Honorable Speaker, I have mixed feeling about this bill. While it is commendable that the bill emphasizes anti-doping measure, there is no guarantee of its effective implementation. How will it ensure that players involved in doping are held accountable? Legal provision against drugs used in sports need to be clearer. Another point is the ban on minister holding position in the sports association. I would add the politicians, regardless of their position, should be restricted from heading sports bodies to remove any political bias. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Ms. Divya.
Honorable Speaker, financial irregularities have plagued the Sports Federation. How will this bill address corruption without bringing this organization under the Right to Information Act 2005? Transparency and accountability are crucial, but this bill falls short in that regard. So, while I support the intent, I believe it requires more robust provision. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Member Mr. Chanakyan.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I am disagreeing with some provision of proposed bill, and many things which could help in the development of sports has been left in this bill. This bill cannot prevent the financial irregularities which is presently going on in different sports federation, including BCCI, Bharatiya Cricket Control Board, Indian Olympic Association, Indian Hockey. There is a big irregularities in the funding of IPL. Can this bill in this present form prevent such financial lacuna? Presently, many politicians are holding the post of chairperson of many sports federation. All these things cannot be considered as a good practice as far as performance of the player and rules and regulation of the sports are concerned. Can this bill as enough prevention to stop such practice? That's why once again I express unsatisfaction with this bill. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs, please.
Honorable Speaker, I have carefully listened to the objections and doubts expressed by the honorable members regarding to this bill. Sir, through you, I assure all the honorable members that this bill will resolve all these objections and doubts as number 1, this bill has adequate provisions to prevent financial irregularities, including auditing of budgets of sports association. Number 2, this bill will be effective in preventing ministers from holding the sports position associations. Number 3, this bill will meet our expectations in improving the performance of our players, banning the use of performance enhancing drugs and all other issues. Number 4, to bring transparency transparency in the budget and functioning of sports association, there is a provision in this bill to bring all sports association, including BCCI, under the Act of Right to Information 2005. Number 5, incidents like match fixing, sport fixing and betting that came to light during IPL 6 have been categorized as crime under this bill, because also the provisions for stigma and the adequate punishments of the persons found involved in this aforesaid incidents. Therefore, I request all the honorable members to wholeheartedly welcome this bill and get it passed in this house with an overwhelming majority. Thank you, sir.
The question is that the bill to improve performance of our player and develop sports in our country at par with international standard be taken into consideration. Those who are in favor will say aye. Aye. Those who are against it will say no. No. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Now the question is that clause 2 to 7 stand part of the bill. Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those who are against it may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. Clause 2 to 7 stand part of the bill. Now the question is that clause 1, the enacting formula and the title stand part of the bill. Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those who are against it may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs, please.
Sir, I move the bill be passed.
Motion moved that the bill is passed. Those in favor may say aye. Aye. Those who are against it may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. The motion is adopted and the bill is passed. Now the House is adjourned to meet again at 30th November 2024 at 11 a.m.
மாலை வணக்கம். அமெரிக்காவில் ஜார்ஜ் எஃப் கென்னடி அவர் அமெரிக்காவினுடைய பிரசிடென்ட். அவர் பிரசிடெண்ட்டாக இருக்கும்பொழுது எப்படி நம்ம எம்எல்ஏ தினமும் இந்த உழவர்கரை நகராட்சியில் இருக்கிற மக்கள் எல்லாம் பார்த்து குறைகள் எல்லாம் கேட்டு பல நலத்திட்டங்களை செய்கிறாரோ, அதுபோல் ஜான் எஃப் கென்னடி அமெரிக்காவில் பிரசிடெண்ட்டாக இருக்கும்பொழுது வாரத்தில் ஒரு நாள் ஸ்டூடெண்ட் எல்லாம் மீட் பண்ணுவார். அப்துல் கலாம் இந்தியாவுடைய பிரசிடெண்ட்டாக இருக்கும்போது எப்படி மாணவர்களை சந்திப்பாரோ அதுபோல் வாரத்தில் ஒரு நாள் கென்னடி மாணவர்களை சந்திப்பார். அப்போ ஒரு முறை அவரை மாணவர்கள்லாம் சந்திக்க வந்தார்கள். அப்போது ஒவ்வொரு மாணவர்கிட்டையும் உங்களுடைய விருப்பம் என்ன, நீங்கள் என்ன படித்து என்ன செய்ய போகிறீங்க, என்ன செய்ய போகிறீங்க. இப்போ ஒரு சிலர் சொன்னாங்க, நான் டாக்டர் ஆக போகிறேன், பொறியாளர் ஆக போகிறேன், டீச்சர் ஆக போகிறேன், சயின்டிஸ்ட் ஆக போகிறேன். இப்படி பல மாணவர்கள் தங்களுடைய கருத்துக்களை எல்லாம் சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. ஆனால் ஒரு மாணவன் மட்டும் கடைசி வரைக்கும் தன்னுடைய விருப்பத்தை சொல்லலை. அப்போ கடைசியாக திரும்ப கென்னடி கேட்டார் அந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டுக்கிட்ட, என்னப்பா நான் கேட்டேன் ஒன்றுமே நீ பதில் சொல்லவே இல்லை, நீ என்னவாக விரும்புகிற அப்படின்னு. ரொம்ப நேரம் யோசனை செய்த பிறகு அந்த மாணவன் சொன்னான், ஐயா நீங்கள் உட்கார்ந்து இருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த சேரில் நான் உட்கார வேண்டும், நீங்கள் உட்கார்ற இந்த இருக்கையில் நான் உட்கார வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் என்னுடைய ஆசை அப்படின்னு அந்த மாணவன் சொன்னான். அதே மாணவன் தான் பிற்காலத்தில் அமெரிக்காவினுடைய ஜனாதிபதியாக பில் கிளின்டனாக அமெரிக்காவினுடைய பிரசிடென்ட்டாக வந்தான் என்பது ஒரு ஹிஸ்டரி, இட்ஸ் நாட் எ ஸ்டோரி. பில் கிளின்டன் அமெரிக்காவினுடைய ஜனாதிபதியாக பிரசிடென்ட்டாக வந்தான். இது எதுக்காக பிரசிடென்சி மீன்ஸ் லீடர். பல தலைவர்களை, பல பொறியாளர்களை, பல மருத்துவர்களை, பல ஆசிரியர்களை, பல காவல்துறை அதிகாரிகளை எல்லாம் நம்ம இது வரைக்கும் தயார் செய்திருக்கின்றோம். பலர் பல துறைகளில் பணியாற்றி இருக்கின்றார்கள். இன்னும் நமது பள்ளியிலிருந்து யாரோ அரசியலில் சட்டமன்ற உறுப்பினராகவோ அல்லது பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினராகவோ இதுவரை செல்லவில்லை. ஆனால் நமது பள்ளியிலிருந்து கூட கண்டிப்பாக சட்டமன்ற உறுப்பினராக பாராளுமன்ற உறுப்பினராக ஆகுவதற்கு மாறுவதற்கு பல மாணவர்கள் இந்த பள்ளியில் படித்துக் கொண்டே இருக்கிறார்கள், தயாராகி கொண்டே இருக்கிறார்கள். அதனுடைய ஒத்திகை ரிகர்சலை தான் நான் இவ்வளவு நேரம் நாங்களாம் உட்காந்து பார்த்தோம். நான் நினைச்சேன் இங்கே இந்திரா காந்தி இப்படியெல்லாம் பல தலைவர்கள்லாம் இங்கே இருக்கீங்க. யாரும் பிறக்கும் பொழுது தலைவராக பிறப்பதில்லை. எல்லோரும் பிறக்கும் பொழுது சராசரி மனிதராக தான் பிறக்கின்றார்கள். அதற்கு ஒரு உதாரணம் நம்ம இருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த உழவர்கரை சட்டமன்ற உறுப்பினர். அவருக்கு அரசியல்லாம் தெரியாது. நாங்கள் இருவரும் அண்ணாமலை பல்கலைக்கழகத்தில் சிதம்பரத்தில் படிக்கும்போது அவர் கூட ஒரு பெரிய டீமே வரும். அவங்களாம் ட்ரெயின் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டு, நான்லாம் ஹாஸ்டல் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டு. அவர் பின்னாடி ஒரு டீமே வருவாங்க, ஒரு 200 பேர் பின்னாடி வருவாங்க. நாங்களாம் ஹாஸ்டல் ஸ்டூடெண்ட், பக்கத்தில் எங்களுடைய டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்லாம் இருந்தது. ஆனால் இன்று அவருடைய திறமை ஒரு அரசியலில் புதுச்சேரியில் ஒரு சிறந்த சட்டமன்ற உறுப்பினராக, அது மட்டுமல்ல ஒரு வணிகத்துறையில் இந்தியாவுடைய வணிக கூட்டமைப்பின் அமைப்பினுடைய ஒரு தலைவராக கூட மாறி இருக்கின்றார். ஒரு சாதாரண மனிதர் இன்று அரசியலிலும் வணிகத்திலும் ஒரு சிறந்த மனிதராக வந்திருக்கின்றார் என்றால் அதற்கெல்லாம் காரணம் அவருடைய தனிப்பட்ட
those who have initiated this, and the real reason for all the thing, the Santosh